Welcome to FS Podcasts. We are a student initiative from Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, a business school located in Frankfurt, Germany. In our podcast, we like to bring different guests with interesting background to talk to us and share their opinion on various diverse topics.
Hello and welcome to another episode of FS Podcast. My name is George Hamilton, and together with me I have
Madhur.
Madhur Chada. He's the co-host today. And today we're more than delighted to have Dr. Philipp Ramin. He's not only very well known for his consultancy work, for co-founding his company, German Innovation Center for Industry 4.0, and his expertise in digital competence and digital business, right? And he's going to give us today the first TED speak.
Yes, exactly.
Of his life, but he's been very, very well known for his speeches. So thank you so much for doing the episode with us, and thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Good to be here at Frankfurt School.
Have you been in Frankfurt before?
Yes, a couple of times.
Yeah.
Of course. If you're doing business in Germany, at some point you will arrive at Frankfurt.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Because of the banks right here, or because... Or?
I mean, first, the airport.
That's very true.
Right. I mean, I'm coming from the Munich area,
Yeah.
so we also have a very nice airport. I
Yeah.
know I'm providing Bavaria. But,
Yeah.
of course, the airport is important, and a lot of great firms are around Frankfurt area. So,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Do you feel like with this all Brexit things happening, not only Frankfurt but also in your area in Bavaria, you feel like business are increasing and people being a bit overwhelmed with all of this?
Well, I see both. On the one hand, people are optimistic that we can get some benefit from that people are moving to Frankfurt or maybe to Germany as a whole, but I think there's more skepticism about this whole Brexit thing. How will it affect the markets? How will it affect the industry, the companies, the financial markets? And that's also my feeling. I'm a little bit worried how that will continue.
Yeah, I mean, this week, it has been crazy, right? The deal, the non-deal. But, we're not here to talk about Brexit. This is not a topic today. I'm no expert in that. But coming back to Industry 4.0, we were just talking back in the day when you were a student before actually recording the episode. First, when you were a student, did you know somehow that you wanted to go all the way to the PhD and in that field that you end up doing? Or you were more sort of a student, okay, I'm going to study, I'm going to pass, I'm going to get a nice job, and that's it?
So, absolutely no.
Okay.
I didn't know my journey before.
Okay.
What I was knowing is that I want to start something on my own. That was very clear. But doing a PhD, no, not at all. It was like actually when I started to do my bachelor's, I was thinking after the bachelor's, I'm fine, I've learned enough, I'm prepared for the world is waiting on me. But then I realized more and more, okay, there are so many more exciting things around the business management, business administration area. So it came step by step that I was digging more into new topics, into innovation, technology, this whole transformation which is taking place. So no, it was like an iteration. I'm reflecting a lot on what I'm talking about, what I want to do, and then, okay, there was some opportunity to do a PhD, and then there was opportunity to set up the company,
and things flew.
And things flow.
Yeah, I just think it's amazing because if you take a look, for example, in DAX companies and most CEOs, CFOs, some of them, they have PhDs, right? But when you look to startups or even people building our companies, normally they start with a struggle.
Right.
And I think it's fascinating when you also dedicate time to your PhD and how it helps you when starting up your own business.
Absolutely, because a PhD helps you to understand what does it mean to be focused and to be alone. Because the PhD is really, you need to do it on your own. And it costs you a lot of time. And you're never free. You're never done at the weekends. Even if you have holidays, you will start to think about your PhD. Oh, I need to finish it. There's a paper. I need to write the next chapter. This is really challenging, but that helped me a lot when I set up the company because it's, it gives you, it makes you strong, I would say. And we are living in a time where people tend to jump from project to project instead of being focused on something. And this is something I learned from the PhD. Sometimes it's important to be focused, and sometimes things need time. and this is the same with a company, you will not be successful from the very beginning. It will be a lot of blood and pain. And therefore...
There will be.
Yes.
There will be.
It's part of it. It's important. So that's what I learned from it.
Yeah.
So I would always recommend it, and I would do it again and again and again. So absolutely.
And moving forward from the academic point of view, talking about Industry 4.0, as you already know, we are on the verge of, we say that Industry 5.0 is on the horizon, and the techniques of mass customization are in. So what is your perspective on the next phase?
Well, first of all, and this will be part of my TED Talk today, I'm a little bit concerned about using all these buzzwords all the time. And I mean, we have been talking a lot about Industry 4.0, and let me tell you, most of the companies have not really started to implement it at full scale, at least.
That's true.
People are overwhelmed by all the definitions. Now we start to think about 5.0. I think it's just another buzzword. So it has great value if we make something out of it, but if we don't, it's just a word without any meaning. 4.0, 5.0, AI, big data, data mining, all of that.
I believe some companies they use the 4.0 after their name just for branding, to say that they're innovative. But some of them are really doing some nice job with that, right?
That's true. You find both. You definitely find software companies selling you a software that is pretty much the same like 5 or 10 years ago, and just adding the 4.0 in the brand to pretend to be more innovative. But in fact, it's still the same product. I'm not criticizing the term 4.0. It was for the economy, for the German economy, for the European economy, a great idea. And it brings together all the technological developments under one umbrella. But at the end, it's really about what do we do with that, right? And this is the reason why I think let's put the muscle power on the streets. Let's bring the engine on the street instead of talking about the next definition.
But do you think for every company, let's say for the hidden champions or here in Germany, or for every traditional company, the big ones, there will be a moment that they really have to go through this whole 4.0 process.
Sure.
Otherwise, they won't exist anymore.
No, there's no choice. I mean, the way how companies are implementing it and will implement it is differing a lot from industry to industry and company to company, but there is no choice in the way like I want to wait or I will not do it because the markets are changing. They are extremely volatile. The demand is changing. More individualization, small batch sizes. Product life cycles are dramatically decreasing in many industries. Empirical data shows that. So you can now start, you can wait. I'm convinced that you need to start right now, that you actually should have started already 5 years ago or even longer. But no, definitely, it's a must.
It's a must nowadays.
Of course, it will differ how you do it, but it's a must. Digitalization is not a question whether it will come. It's just a question how you do it. And will you be part of the first mover or will you be someone who's waiting? And the problem is that many companies don't have a pain point. They're still making lots of money. I mean, we're in Frankfurt, part of finance. A lot of banks are waiting. They are waiting.
It's true.
And things are changing dramatically fast, and I don't get it. Because it's so risky, and the past has shown so many times that if you wait too long, you might be,
disruption comes, right?
Yeah, at least it might come, and you should be prepared. And that's my philosophy.
I think it's fascinating, for example, that Germany, I come from Brazil, but I love this country. I've been here for a while. But I think it's fascinating how much it is a cash-based society. I cannot go outside without some cash in my pockets. Otherwise, I can even, buy some bread, buy coffee, And do you think that should somehow change in the future? And how long do you think this transition should take time?
Yeah, you're mentioning a big problem.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it shows that there is some general skepticism regarding technology in Germany, and that this country, which used to be a first mover when it comes to engineering and technological things, is not a first mover anymore. And we need to highlight that. It's not about blaming someone. It's not about being negative.
Pointing fingers, no.
It's just about highlighting that things have changed. And I think Germany is really almost the last country in Europe where it's so tough to use a credit card when you order a taxi. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I made the experience today in Frankfurt, in maybe the most international city in Germany, and I need to argue with the taxi driver whether I can use the credit card or not. And this shows a problem with regard to digitalization, because this is digitalization as well. Yeah. So we are really in this, into this convenience and let's wait and see. And is it really necessary? And we are also earning money when we use cash.
Wasting time.
Yeah, we're in our comfort zone.
Yeah.
In Germany.
Wow.
And that's an issue.
So do you think this money-based system is mostly based on the resistance of the economy, the market, the people not wanting to go to a cashless system? Because as we see in Asia, most of the transactions, every day you can just go with your phone and do it.
Yeah, of course. It's part of the society. I think it's unfortunately part of the German DNA a little bit. This the skepticism. Will they control my data, and what will happen? Even with a credit card, I'm not even paying about mobile payment. I mean, I'm just talking about an ordinary credit card. I think it's part of the society. It's also part of this strong German Mittelstand identity, where things are different, more conservative. Not always bad. I'm not saying that, but not so much oriented towards the latest technologies.
On the other hand, I feel like, it's just my own perspective. Also talking and sharing this topic with other people, but I feel like not having or being a cash-based society somehow is right, because people should have the right of do autonomous transactions. Yeah. So without putting their names, without people knowing what they are actually buying, without they consuming, right? So, but I feel like at some point in the future, people already know everything about you, and how do you protect yourself of that? Is there a way? In your perspective, in your view?
To be honest, I don't think so.
Yeah,
we don't have a choice here.
Yeah,
because it's already done. The progress is already too far, and we were a part of it. I mean, people are posting pictures of their newborns in Instagram.
Oh yeah,
and it's their decision. I wouldn't do it, but okay, it's their decision.
Yeah.
But at the end, we are coming to an overall problem, which is pushing me a lot, that we have a missing education on digitalization, that people do not really understand what is going on. They don't see the advantages, like what would be the advantage for the whole economy if we can decrease the amount of cash in our transactions.
Yeah.
They also don't see the disadvantages, because no one has ever taught them. Digital education, digital transformation is not part of school. It's not part in most of the university studies. Still today, of course, now it's coming up.
But very specific courses,
very
right?
Specific courses.
Yeah.
And what about the people who have been graduated 10 or 20 years ago? Who has ever told them the advantages of mobile payment or the advantages of digitalization?
Yeah.
No one. So they get their information maybe from some 2 minutes YouTube videos, maybe if they're interested.
If they watch it, no?
Exactly.
Because I feel like, for example, Mark Zuckerberg explains to Congress what is Facebook or what is the internet, you know?
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
It's a very hard task.
So for me, it's really, it's a deficit on knowledge, on education, on qualification in the companies, in the societies, in the schools, in politics, let me tell you, in the politics as well, everywhere.
Yeah, we're coming back to politics. I mean, because you've been very, very active in politics in Bavaria. Hopefully, German as a whole one day. What's the role in explaining, or what's the role of digitalization in politics?
Well, I mean, I'm personally just a humble city councilman on a regional level, so it's not a big deal. But of course, I also try on this local level. I try to educate people about what needs to be done and what advantages would it have for a local administration to take advantage of these new technologies. I mean, it starts with very simple topics like providing Wi-Fi, open Wi-Fi in the community, because it's a topic that is still not really on the agenda of many politicians, because they are coming from a time where it wasn't part of it.
Yeah,
I mean, they're kind of older and they have never learned it as well. So therefore, I try to utilize my experience here as well, but it's like my hobby. So I don't see myself as a politician. I see myself as someone who likes to do politics as part-time.
On behalf of other people, that's fascinating. Very kind of you, actually, to use your part-time to do things for others. And do you feel like companies, they have a big obligation in that field, in not only educating their employers and their employees, but also in trespassing this whole digitalization idea to people who maybe one day want to work there, or to the environment where they are, to the regions where they're located?
Sure. It's their responsibility. It's a top management topic, and unfortunately, it's Sometimes it's just done a little bit, like, okay, we also need to do some digitalization because everyone is doing it. But it's their responsibility to prepare their employees, to prepare the company, to educate everyone, to answer critical questions. So what is happening to the employees in the future? Will we have the same ones? Will there be some cannibalization?
Yeah, I asked this because mostly, for example, I had experience working for a chemical company. And for a chemical company, you don't have like in production lines a lot of people working, But let's say in OEM, where you have thousands of people, and maybe in Germany even millions of people working in OEMs, and with digitalization, this number tends to go down. So they are kind of in a gray zone whether they should push for digitalization or whether they should just sort of protect their this word is coming today. Employers. The unemployment. Yeah. So it's a very tough position to be, right?
It's tough, but it does make sense to neglect, to do nothing actually, and of course we will lose some jobs, but new ones will come up. But no one knows the result of the overall calculation, whether it will be at the end positive or negative. Yeah. And this actually highlights again the necessity of training, of education, of qualification, at least to have the debate on what needs to be done. I think we need to be quite honest and to explain to people, some processes will be automated because it doesn't make sense in a high wage country like Germany to do a specific process manually if it would be so much more efficient to do it automated. Yeah? But at the same time, we need to think, okay, what are we doing with the people? Yeah? What are we doing with the people who used to have an ordinary job? And I'm sure there are some answers by requalification, by more thinking, more investment towards innovation and new product development in the future. But this needs to be started today, and it costs money, it costs time, and it will also cost a lot of blood and pain again. Of course, it's not easy. Every transformation is related with pain and blood. That's very clear.
Has been so.
Yeah, and also the emphasis on continuous education with the employees that going away, so they need to be continuously educated on new trends.
Right, it doesn't stop. And I think this is the main deficit of companies today, that they are providing some alibi one-day workshops. This is once a year and then that's it. But it will be like constantly thinking about the latest developments and getting access or providing the access to this knowledge to everyone, not just to top management, not just to the digital experts, because they are already experts, but constantly providing access to knowledge and education to all people in the organization. It never stops, of course. And I'm a little bit, how should I say, I don't understand, because almost for decades, we are talking about this lifelong learning. About never stop learning.
Never stop,
Right, but in fact, if we look how organizations work and how less opportunities they provide to get this constant education to your team, to their teams, then I think it's disappointing. And it clearly shows, again, we are using the buzzwords, we're using it for marketing purposes, or we are the company that is so innovative and, but in fact, then if you talk to the people, you find out, it's not the reality.
Not really.
Not always. I don't want to blame someone. There are also great companies I want to highlight. There are great companies who are doing it. But unfortunately, it's not the majority.
But maybe that's because the trade-off of efficiency and specialization. So if they don't teach anything new, they would specialize in the things they're doing. Right. So that's the trade-off. But the companies need to understand that now new skills are more in demand than specialization.
Sure. And you're bringing up a very important point. It needs to be balanced. Of course, a company still needs to earn money and needs to be focused on daily business. I mean, no doubt about that. It's not like we can meet every week for training sessions and blah, blah, blah. There needs to be money in the pockets, of course. Yeah. But there is a gray zone in between.
I'm very curious now. We've talked about the process of digitalization, how it was in the past, the challenges the company they are facing now. But how do you see the future? I mean, with wrapping all of this, how you see the future?
I always see things positive.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I still see the future positive. Technology provides opportunities. I strongly believe that technology will help us, in particular in healthcare, which is extremely important. I think technology will also help us to have a more efficient financial industry, which is so necessary. But it will not come alone. It will only come if we do something for it. Yeah? So I'm positive, but now it's time to change. It's time to put effort in it, to educate people and things like that. Of course, we need to tackle a lot of challenges. We need to tackle how the society is changing. We need to tackle the imbalance between different countries, the imbalance in the society, of course. But overall, I'm still positive because we are full of opportunities. And I think it's about us, it's about the young generation to take advantage of it, and also to remain positive even if there are strange politicians out there, even if there are conflicts out there. If we are not positive, who else should be positive then?
But is there any kind of, I mean, I have the same opinion on that. I feel we should be overall more positive about technologies and things that are coming to the future. But is there any technology that you would be a bit more skeptical?
Yeah, of course, that's about AI.
Yeah.
Of course, because AI is like a black box. It's like a black box. We have algorithms, and no one really knows how they are developed, who is behind, who is deciding how the algorithm is actually working.
Yeah.
And this knowledge is really focused on a very small group of people. So I don't have a number, but I mean, most of the people do not understand what is going on with this artificial intelligence and what kind of algorithm is there. So that's a downturn. And this brings me again to the aspect of education, that we all understand what is happening, that this is not just, something for an exclusive group of a very few people.
Wow.
So as now we're coming to the end of the podcast, we have some questions that we ask every panelist on here. So the first question is, whom do you look up to?
It's still someone like Steve Jobs. He has influenced my life. I still have his speech in Stanford in mind. You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You need to look backwards, and this is perfectly fits to my life as well. So that's definitely someone.
I didn't want to come to the final questions because I have so many questions here, but we're coming to the end of the episode. But if you could be somewhere right now, where would you be and where and why?
Exactly here.
Here.
In a couple of minutes, I will give a TED talk. I mean, that's great. That's a great opportunity.
It's true.
Really, I'm happy to be here at the moment. And I think it's also important to be focused on what we are doing
on
at the
now.
moment. I don't like this always focused already on the next step. No, I'm focused on you guys.
On
You're
the
doing
present.
a great job, and the sun is shining.
Well, it's cold outside, but
it's cold, but sun is
it's a
shining,
fake sun.
It's good for
fake
November, trust me.
Yeah. I come from Brazil. I mean, this is not good.
But Germany.
And at the end, we talked about 4.0. We talked about industries, of course, 4.0 in industries. Is there any book that you would recommend on the topic, like 4.0 or digitalization for dummies, or in a way that really helped you to through your process of founding your own business and also consulting to other companies?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Is it?
I mean, there are many books which are worth reading. I think it would be fair to mention at least one. When it comes to startup thinking, when you want to open up your business, it's still this Lean Startup book which has influenced myself a lot because it's well written, it's easy to understand, and it can be applied also within a company. That might be one recommendation.
Would you be keen to write a book?
I mean, I already did write a book. What do you mean?
If you're thinking about writing another book.
Another book? Well, actually, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a few book projects in mind.
Okay.
But time is a little bit the constraint.
Okay. Yeah, I imagine.
But definitely, I'm sure I will write another book. But don't ask me about what.
About what and when?
Because I mean, there are so many things in my head.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So, if someone wants to find your book, how can we find your book and just giving you the platform?
Well, just type in my name, and I think Amazon will show you, or other bookstores as well.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
So, Dr. Philipp Ramin, it was a pleasure having you here in the episode. Thank you so much. And we wish you a lot of success now, not only in the TED event, but also in your journey, your endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
for having me. All the best for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.